My name is Jordan, and I'm a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. My story really begins when I was about 13 years old. I was sexually abused by a good friend of the family for several years, and in my case, it wasn't so much the abuse that I remember. It's what I did afterwards. It's how I coped with the abuse that really destroyed the person I was. Between self-harm and addictions and prostitution and you name it, I was into it. And I destroyed the person I was. I destroyed my life. My healing journey began because I couldn't continue living the way I was living. Something had to change. And I know from a lot of experience that things don't change unless you change them. So I started going to therapy. I started going to group. When I went to group, I met other men who had similar situations to me. Healing from trauma is messy, and it's a long road. It's got so many ups and downs, and unfortunately, for me at least, it got a lot worse before it got better, but I want to be me. I want to be Jordan. Moving beyond survival is the natural next step in my healing journey. Meeting other men who'd been in similar situations as I had really helped me realize that I wasn't one in a million, that I wasn't the only guy going through this. There was a community of people who authentically knew who I was, and that meant so much. I was quickly put on to Men Healing's Weekends of Recovery, and I remember being so scared that I was gonna walk in there and stick out like a sore thumb. When I actually went to my first weekend, I was welcomed with open arms. That weekend changed the trajectory of my recovery. The next step in my healing journey is outreach. I started doing a lot of outreach, a lot of radio interviews and TV and articles and public speaking and things like that, because I wanted other survivors to know that this was possible and that healing doesn't need to be a unicorn. It is a tangible, real thing that can be achieved if you just put in the work. When I tell my story publicly, when other men who've been sexually abused hear it, if that sparks or initiates any kind of healing or recovery work in them, then I've done my job. Last year, I decided that I needed to give back, and I needed to give back to the community that really saved my life. So I joined with Men Healing to put on an expedition. I decided I was going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro and raise money for the Men Healing Scholarship Fund. I wanted more men to have access to that resource that saved my life. So I spent a whole bunch of time raising money, put on fundraisers, and I was able to raise over $9,000 for the scholarship fund and send more men to these weekends. I summited Mount Kilimanjaro last January. My hope was to inspire other men to move beyond survival and to really push themselves to do the things they thought they never could. And I achieved that.